Thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope everyone's having a good start to their semester so far. A little bit of housekeeping before I hand things over to Nick for our tech talk. So first of all, our agenda for today, we are going to start with the tech talk by Nick, who is going to talk about self-service student tools and student portal customizations. We will then take Q&A on that tech talk and general academia Q&A as well. And we are going to be putting a pause on User Spotlight. We've had so many great folks speak for this series, and we are at a point where we are looking at other options for how to get the most out of your time. So we are just going to be doing that today, and then we are also may go through some of the sessions that we are going to be hosting at our conference next month. And speaking of which, we have the Academic Center Summit that we are hosting in Orlando near our company headquarters, October 26th through 28th. We're going to have a lot of great breakout sessions, keynote speaker Sandra McGuire, lots of networking opportunities, a unique excursion to Winter Park. And if you are interested in joining us for that, we would love to have you. There's also going to be comprehensive academia training, and that's going to be October 26th through 28th. And we will put the link to find out more and register in the chat. All right, so if you want to go to that link, you can find out more there about the conference. And now I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Nick for our tech talk.
Thanks, Rachel. All right, so yeah, today's topic is on some self-service options that you have with the students, and how you can customize like what options that they see and things like that. So we've got, some different topics here we want to go over, just an overview, the core features of self-service and what admins can do to customize that potentially, and then just kind of summarizing it. So some of the areas that we're going to look at would be like appointment scheduling, viewing the session log history, which would be their visits to the center, the reports that they have access to as a student, as well as communications. Also, some newer things that we've added, such as virtual drop-in links and the online waiting feature, where they can enter the line before they arrive. So we have that, as well as a bunch of campus features that you guys have probably seen in there, so they can sign up for events, seminars, workshops. We also have things like Booksmart, where they could potentially list their books that they have for sale. Maybe it's from an old class that they've already passed, things like that. Room reservations and a bunch more. So some of the core features of the self-service, and we'll see this when we log in as a student, would be the scheduling and check-in features. So whether that be, booking an appointment or just doing a virtual drop-in, those are the things we're going to look at, as well as accessing their records. So students by default are going to be limited to what, they can see. It's really just their information, but they'll also be able to see any kind of surveys and things like that they need to take. If you had one triggered to go off when you're, when they're visiting the center, so they can complete those. We'll see how that looks, as well as viewing the reminders, announcements, and messaging available in the system. So let me jump over to, I have an Accudemia account already logged in here. So this is a student account. So if you're familiar, obviously, with looking at it through the admin side, they don't have quite as many options here. As you can see, they're going to have whatever you guys had given them access to as an admin, as well as a few core features. So one of those things would be, if you guys offered appointments, they're going to see the appointments section. If you let them view their own session logs, so these could actually be disabled if it's something you don't offer. Additionally, we have the online waiting line feature. So this is where they could view a list of centers that have their waiting line available online. They could see how many people are waiting in line for that center, And even if you allow it, go ahead and sign in prior to arriving. So that's pretty cool. We also have things like the support Dropbox. I relabeled mine paper submissions, so that way they knew exactly what it's used for and the terminology there. And then we have all these campus options, which we'll go over, as well as the data analytics report section. Of course, their reports are going to be limited to these three that we see here. So there's one on center visits. If you guys do classroom attendance for SI, there's those 2 class reports as well. Either their presence or absences there that they could pull. All right, one of the other things I wanted to highlight, and this was the first screen that they see, so you really can customize this per center, is the homepage widgets that they have available. So if you are offering appointments, you're going to have this upcoming appointments where they can view what they have coming up and also schedule directly from this, or go to the page to view all of their appointments. I think this will only list like the next 3 or so, and then after that you'd have to view all of them. Also, if there's any messages, communications between staff and students, they would see this here in the middle section of this same communications bar here. And then we also have, if they have any surveys to take, what those are, they can click on those and complete those. They could also, like I said, start a new message or view the existing ones and reply to those. Some of the other cool things that we'll see on the homepage is the tutors' schedules. If there's a certain thing I'm looking for, like maybe it's an appointment for, maybe math class that I'm taking, I could go ahead and just get a general idea of when folks are available for today or the week. So I've got people, it looks like, available Monday through Friday. This one Saturday is available too. Just a general idea. It's not going to tell them all the things, but then they could go ahead and schedule an appointment based on that information. So another cool place to have information is the announcements. This is also the college and center news sections. You could have hours of operation, different things like that. This here, I have it in dark mode right now, but in the light mode, you can kind of see it says click here to join the virtual waiting line. So if that's where I would want to share that, I could. I could also share this on my website if I had like a web page for the college where my center, can post things. I could put it there. I could put it on their portal. And so this is a way that they could go ahead and access those virtual links, and it'll start the remote sign-in process. And this is where we would have people available for them to go ahead and jump in and do a session online or virtually. Additionally, if they have any papers or things for the support Dropbox, this is another widget that I enabled on here. And I can submit new ones or view all of them if I have more than quite a few here. Calendars, all these things, we'll see how these widgets can help out. And it may even give them a quick preview into what's available in these campus modules. So things like events registration and BookSmart and some of these other areas of the system. So going into it, some of the things that you can tweak as well for admins to kind of give them those abilities is you could, have the brandings and colorings of the center to adjust that layout as well on the homepage. So we're going to see that. Also talking about the access that you give to your students, as well as like news and announcements pages that you can customize. So what I'm going to do is jump out of that student account, just log out, and we can see if I log in as an admin, what some of those changes are that I can make. So first thing I'm going to do is go to administration, control panel, and you have a lot of options here, but just to kind of review some of those things. So if, for instance, I wanted to control those homepage widgets, I might want to go into the appearance and theme settings for either the college, or I could also go for my center directly. I'm going to just go to the college level first. So here I can actually adjust like the homepage icon, as well as, I'm sorry, the account logo or the homepage logo. And this one is just the one that appears right on the homepage at the top left here. Additionally, I can click on the homepage widgets here, and I can go ahead and change the order of those and which ones that students see. Maybe there's certain ones that I want to have right at the top, and each one of these corresponds to a different widget. So the announcements, this would be like the college news and center news. So if I wanted that right at the top when they're looking at I can basically change this numbering around to suit how I want it. And then if there's things that, like, for instance, we haven't uploaded a calendar, maybe I take that off. If there's certain things that I don't offer. So, and if I save those changes and we log back in as that student, there we go. Okay. And if I go look at the college level one, we should be able to see that the news is right at the top because that's what we wanted. And additionally, like the next thing, which was the announce section, and then the tutor schedules. Some of these things may not be available, like I said, for them. So you do have to pick a center maybe to see what schedules. So when I do select that, now I have their schedules showing up, and I could filter those down, of course, like we saw before. So, all right, go back out and in as an admin. And we're going to go right back to the control panel. So some of the things, this was just the homepage widget. So the other thing that I mentioned is like the access restrictions. So we're going to look at user account settings. And in here, we actually have a section on the left here is access restrictions. And I can choose for like our default roles, like some additional permissions. And the main ones that we have is things like students can access their session log screen. I can zoom in, it's a little small. Students can access the appointment wizard. Maybe they can edit their own email. So you can choose from these. Now there's not a whole lot of options, but there are some there. So I wanted to kind of highlight those. There's also options for tutors and other roles as well, but kind of focusing on the students. And if you basically give them that access, then they're going to have the session log screen. And if we log back in with them, this is where they would see that. Now, let me set this to last 30 days. Okay, so here's some appointments, for instance, and you can see that they could pull a report of that if they wanted to download those here, or they could even go to their reports and pull their center visits here under my center attendance, and we just have to set that time period for last 30 days. And go ahead and run that. And it's good because it's just pre-filtered on them, so they're only going to see their data. So this is what that would look like. Oops, wrong thing. Here we go. So there's their 2 visits with a summary of their time. All right. And what was the other one? Oh, news and announcements. Let me show you that. And we did kind of go over the logo as well. It's actually in the same place with the widgets. So, okay. So in here, go back in as an admin and log out from the student account. And under the same control panel here, under administration, is the first option here. I could have went straight down the list, but we kind of jumped around. So each area has their own announcements they can set. The college news ones are always going to be on the left, so you can, if you don't really have anything that the college, you could maybe use that as a shared announcement section for all the centers and maybe have a little bit of information from each center in there. But if you go in there, these are generally going to look pretty much the same here. You have a title that you can put in there, a preview, and this is just what they see in the box without having to click the more info button. And then finally, the announcements text. So for instance, you can see here I have like an embedded video that they can watch, but I didn't want it to just be taking up the whole screen. So in the preview, I excluded that, but in the full message. And if we just go back to the home page and go down to the college news here, you can see in the preview, it just has the text. But if I do full announcement, now they can go ahead and watch the video. And this is pretty easy to do. You know, if you wanted to add something like that, you would just copy the embedded code from YouTube there and put it in there. If you actually click this button here, you get some HTML options where you would just embed that in there. If you ever have questions about that, if you wanted to do something similar, maybe set up your own video that you'd shown your staff going through the process as a student, you know, that could be helpful for students. Also, this was another thing I didn't really mention, but one of those widgets was the shared calendar. So if you have like a Google Calendar that you want to put in there, it's actually in this section as well. This would only appear though at the college level. So if you go into the centers, it's just like one shared calendar. So, but yeah, so those are pretty much most of the customizations there. And the colors, I think that was in the appearance and theme as well. I don't know if I had shown that, but we do have different themed colors. So that's pretty much it. So just to kind of summarize some of the self-service, and I didn't go through the app. The app also, we have an Accudemia app that also has some of these resources. And it looks something similar to this here. So if they're on an iPad or maybe a cell phone, they're going to have a lot of the same options that you have here, maybe just displayed a little differently. But they do have all the homepage widgets and things like that. You'll see that when you log in as a student in there. And then they also have access to the same reports and things like that. I do want to give you guys some links to the manuals that might be helpful. We do have a student version as well as like the admin manual where you'll get more in-depth details on like how to configure appearance and themes, the access restrictions, and all those sections we went over in the control panel. So here, this is the admin manual first, and then the student one. And a lot of times with the student manual, if you guys want to develop your own manual for students based on that, you can, but at least you have kind of a starting off point, and you can always like exclude the things that you don't want in it.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope that everybody has a great rest of your week, and we will see you again next month. Take care, everyone.